All right, good morning, everyone. It is March 11th, and coming at you today, something more of a philosophical thing, I guess. Uh, there is a channel on YouTube I follow, and it's called Warrior Poets Society. And I mention that not just to have you check them out, because I really enjoy their stuff. I think you guys would too. But I mention that because it ties into a video that they shared yesterday, and I was thinking about this old song from the 90s, a 90s R&B song, and I mentioned another 90s R&B song earlier this week. So my love of 90s R&B runs deep, but this is by a song by a band called Mint Condition, and it's called What Kind of Man Would I Be? It was a big hit, still a great song, but the message behind that and the title of the video I watched last night said Three Types of Men. And I was just thinking about what kind of man do I want to be? And I'm submitting this question for your consideration. What kind of man do you want to be? Now, I don't know if women watch these. I don't know if it's mostly men. And I don't know if this is going to get flagged because I am speaking about men and women. Follow the science, right? But just the thought, what kind of quality, what kind of character, what kind of man do I want to be? And, I've hinted here, if you listen to our podcast, Flawdcast CLE, you can find it on flawedinc.com as well as my other daily Flawed vlogs. The whole thing is a repair manual. It's actually called Smith's Heart of Man Repair Manual. And I talk about things like this. And I'm actually starting the process of researching my next book. And it's just really interesting because as I'm thinking about moving forward in that book, and this is about men, the next book's about men, but it's more universal, I would say. But just thinking, like, what kind of man do I want to be? And I want to be a good man. I want to be, like, pardon the church term, but like a godly man. I want to be somebody that, as much as I can, is like Christ, which is not anything like I should be. And I'm flawed. I fail miserably all the time. But I believe part of that is the idea of what do you want? What kind of man do you want to be? Not what kind of man you currently are, not what kind of man you previously been, but what kind of man do you want to be? And it was interesting, it was talking about, I don't want to give the video away because I think it'd be great if you watch it, but three types of men. There's a villain, there's a hero, and then there's a weak. There's someone who's weak or a weakling. And he just talks about like the most dangerous one. And as I was listening to these, there's a lot of things I identify in the villain, the hero, and weak. And I understand that the idea of a good man or what a good man is often twisted and distorted in culture and society. But I talk with a lot of people, men and women, who have no motivation, that have no desire to do anything but have their dopamine lowered by watching the phone and plugging in the TV and playing games and disconnecting from the reality of the reality of life. And I would challenge you, one of our founding fathers, Samuel Adams, talks about the animated contest of liberty, and becoming the man you want to be. I would even say becoming who the Almighty created you to be is engaging in that animated contest of liberty, because it is for freedom that Christ set us free. And that's freedom not just, from tyranny on this planet, which I definitely believe, but I also believe it's tyranny from like self-imposed prison, like these thoughts, these things that people put on you, things of that nature. It's about the freedom to be who you want to be. And that could be a good man. That could be a bad man. That could be that you could literally drop out and with all due respect, piss your life away. That is your choice. That is completely up to you. My what I would have liked to inspire, what I would like to encourage and motivate, and hopefully if I get my book out, I can do that, is what kind of man do you want to be? That man isn't going to appear suddenly overnight. And that man shouldn't be bogged down and weighed down by decisions and mistakes of the past or successes of the past. The man that you want to be is someone that you are always going to be striving and contending to become. So I just want to leave this here. I want you to think about it. What kind of man do you want to be? How can you become that kind of man? Surround yourself with men that you admire or look up to. Push the rest of the people aside. I know that in my life that I can attest to you, this is the case. There have been men that I thought were trustworthy and worthwhile, and they weren't. But then you kind of just have them weed themselves out of your life, and you surround yourself with people that you admire and that have qualities and characteristics that you want to not mimic, but you want to take in and initiate and ingrain into yourself. What kind of man do you want to be? I can tell you this: you cannot become the man that you want to be until you get in the arena.